Your last few sales calls felt great, right until the prospects ghosted you days later. You handled objections, kept things smooth, but somehow they still slipped away. And if that keeps happening, you're not just losing deals. You're wasting hours chasing people who were never gonna buy in the first place. So, after analyzing thousands of sales calls, I identified the 4 psychological tactics top 1% closers use to flip the script so prospects convince themselves to buy. You'll start closing more calls without pressure, awkward follow-ups, or even feeling like you're forcing a sale. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. All right, so here's what most salespeople get wrong. They think their job is to convince people to buy, to push, to pitch, to prove. So they load up on things like benefits, features, case studies, clever little rebuttals, anything to sound persuasive. And guess what? The harder they push, well, the faster prospects start pulling away. Top performers, on the other hand, they understand something different. People don't like being sold to, but they love deciding to buy. There's a massive difference. When someone feels sold to, their guard snaps up immediately. They're scanning for manipulation, waiting for the catch, hunting for reasons to say no. But when someone decides to buy on their own terms, there's no resistance at all. They've already sold themselves. So the real skill here isn't persuasion. It's setting the stage so prospects persuade themselves. And guess what? That comes down to 4 psychological shifts that top reps make in every conversation. All right, so the first technique is a little counterintuitive, but bear with me. You need to make your prospects feel safe before you even ever start talking about value. Most reps, they jump straight into their pitch. They're excited about their product, they want to show value fast, and they start presenting before the prospect has even mentally checked in. This triggers what psychologists call sales resistance, the automatic wall that goes up when someone feels like they're about to be sold to. Top reps, they do the opposite. They slow down and make the prospects feel safe before doing anything else. Here's what that sounds like in practice. Early in the call, you can say something like, "Look, I'm not sure if this is even a fit for what you're doing. My goal for this call is just to understand your situation, and if it makes sense to keep talking, great. If not, I'll point you in the right direction either way." So, what just happened? Well, you took the pressure off. The prospect's brain stopped preparing for a fight and actually began to open up. They're no longer scanning for manipulation because you just signaled that you're not attached to the outcome. This works because of a psychological principle called reciprocity of vulnerability. When you admit uncertainty and give them an easy out, they feel safe enough to be honest with you. And honest conversations, those close deals. Guarded ones don't. The irony here is that by making it easier to say no, you actually increase your chances of getting a yes. Okay, so the second technique is using questions that lead to self-discovery rather than questions that qualify. Most salespeople ask questions to gather information for their pitch. What's your budget? Who's the decision maker? What timeline are you working with? These are interrogation questions. They're for you, not for them. Top reps, on the other hand, they ask questions that make the prospect think differently about their own situation. Here's the difference. A typical question: are you happy with your current solution? Most prospects will probably say, yeah, it's fine, even if it's not. Why? Well, because it's a safe answer. So you learn nothing and the conversation goes nowhere. A self-discovery question, on the other hand, sounds something like this. When you look at how your team is generating leads today, what's the one thing that frustrates you the most about the process? Now they're not answering your question. They're reflecting on their own pain. They're articulating the problem out loud, often for the first time. Or even take the first question as an example. You could ask it like this: would you say you're always 100% happy with your situation? And notice how I emphasize the words always 100% happy. Why? Well, because in reality, nobody ever feels this way. So now their brain starts scanning for what's wrong. And here's what's powerful. People believe what they say more than what they hear. So when they tell you their problem is costing them deals, they've just sold themselves on needing a solution. Another example. Instead of asking, would this feature help you? Try, if you could eliminate that bottleneck, what would that mean for your team's numbers this quarter? Now they're actually visualizing the outcome. They're connecting your solution to their goals in their own words. You didn't pitch anything. You just asked a question that made them picture success in their own mind. And believe it or not, the best salespeople spend about 70% of the conversation asking these types of questions and just letting the prospects talk themselves into the solution themselves. Now, the third technique is one that most reps are absolutely terrified of, and that is strategic silence. When there's a pause in a conversation, average reps panic and they start filling the space. They keep talking, over-explaining, adding more features, and essentially talking themselves out of the deal. Top reps, they do the opposite. After they ask a powerful question or make a key point, they stop talking completely. And here's why that works. Silence creates psychological pressure, but not on you, on them. The prospect's brain needs to fill that space. And when they do, they often reveal their real objections, concerns, or even buying signals. So try this. After saying something like, "What would solving this problem mean for your business?" Just wait. Don't say a single word. Count to 10 in your head if you need to. What usually happens is a prospect will go deeper. They'll share something they weren't planning to share, and they'll talk through their thinking out loud. And often enough, they'll convince themselves while you just sit there. Not only, but silence also communicates confidence. When you're comfortable with pauses, you signal that you're not desperate. You don't need to oversell. And that calm authority, well, makes prospects trust you more. The fourth technique sounds completely backwards, but you want to give prospects a reason to say no. Here's the logic. Most reps avoid anything that could kill the deal. They hide limitations, they gloss over potential issues, and often they oversell what their solution can do. Sound familiar? Well, this actually increases skepticism because prospects know nothing is ever actually perfect. Top reps do the opposite. They proactively point out where their offer might not be a fit. Something like, "I'll be honest, if your team isn't willing to invest about 30 minutes per day into this new process, you're probably not going to see the results you've been looking for." Is that realistic for your situation? Now, what you just did is called negative selling, and it is incredibly powerful. First, you demonstrated honesty, which instantly builds trust. And second, you let them qualify themselves. If they say, "Yeah, we can commit to that," they just made a micro commitment. They're now invested in making it work. This also eliminates buyer's remorse later. So when you're upfront about what it takes, people have realistic expectations and actually want to follow through. The psychology is simple. When someone tries to talk to you into something, you pull away. But when someone seems willing to talk you out of it, you lean in. Why? Well, because at the end of the day, we all want something that seems slightly out of reach. What feels exclusive? Simple as that. So here's what makes these techniques so effective. They don't just work in isolation. They amplify each other. You can create safety so the prospect lowers their guard. You ask self-discovery questions so they articulate their own problems and goals. You use silence to let them think and reveal what really matters. And you give them reasons to say no so they can feel in control and ultimately trust you more. At no point did you push, manipulate, or use high-pressure tactics. You just made it feel like buying was their idea in the first place. This is why top 1% reps feel like they're barely selling. The prospect often walks away thinking, "Oh wow, I actually really like that person," without even realizing that they got guided through a psychological journey that made buying feel more natural. The difference between average and elite salespeople isn't about having better scripts or faster objection handling skills. It really just comes down to understanding psychology and making prospects feel safe, heard, and in control. Start with one of these techniques on your next call and watch how differently the conversation goes. If this helped you think differently about sales, hit that like button and subscribe for more techniques that actually work in B2B. I'll also leave an actionable game plan for you in a Notion doc pinned in the comments below, so go check it out. And if you want to go deeper on psychological selling, we cover even more advanced techniques in this video right here. I'll see you there.